everyone, and welcome to a new video. Today's video topic is inspiration, where to find it and how to use it. Now, if you work in any sort of creative industry, you've probably heard the word inspiration come up quite a lot. It is one of the motivators that drives us to create. There are different kinds of inspirations. Some are more fleeting and make you want to capture the moment, and some are a bit long-lasting. Sometimes it comes out of absolutely nowhere and it kind of takes you by surprise. But that's kind of the wonderful thing about inspiration. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that there is a perfect way to find something that will inspire you every single time. There is no set formula for getting inspired. However, I do have some tips that can help you get closer to those inspirational sparks. So let's get right into it. So, first off, inspiration. How do you find it? That's a very good question. And here's the beauty of it, you can find it anywhere. Oh, that's such a non-answer, I hear you say. Yes, but bear with me, because we are going to unravel the seams of this complex and broad material. There are some things you can do to bring yourself closer to a spark of inspiration, but it will vary from person to person. I personally find myself to be inspired a lot by video games, and by movies, and by TV shows, and by music that I love. Even tabletop role-playing games are a source of inspiration for me. It kind of just depends on the sort of things that you feel affectionate towards, your hobbies and your interests. I am also a huge fan of alternative fashion and have always felt very inspired by the types of creation that can be derived from that. But it doesn't just have to be media or fashion specifically. I think the best kind of inspiration comes from trying to get it from multiple sources. This can be going outside for a walk, but also following different sorts of artists on the internet. And by that I mean, if you are a digital artist and you're only following digital artists, stop doing that. No, you can still follow them. Don't get me wrong. You can follow the digital artists, but broaden your horizons. Follow some traditional artists. Follow some sculptors, some 3D modelers. Follow, I don't know, your local band that you like. I don't know. It's whatever is of interest to you, but I will guarantee you that within any medium, you will find something that appeals to you. And I think that having that variety that comes through to you can really help you build a visual library of interests. I also think, in general, following a variety of different types of artists can help you become a better artist, because having an expanded visual library can only aid you in whatever medium you're working with. Well, that's all well and dandy, I hear you say inside my head. But where do I find it? Alright, I hear you, I get it. You want something more concise than what I just explained to you. Understandable. So I do have some tips in that regard. You see, if you already have like a concept in mind, but you're just not quite finding the motivation to do it, my advice is go on Pinterest. Pinterest, you say? Isn't that just like for wine moms? No, it's also actually a great resource for artists, but there's also a lot of stolen art on there, but that's neither here or there for the specific video. What I'm trying to say is, make mood boards. Yes, go browse Pinterest and Google specific words and make some mood boards for whatever project you would like to be working on. I did that for this painting. I looked up skulls and gemstones and crystals to make a specific mood board for this piece. So I would have some great references to work from. So yes, use references. That's actually another great point. Use references. They're important. They will help you. References can also help you feel inspired. And other things, like I personally really enjoy art books. I've got some art books from art that inspires me, which is also kind of funny because if you look at my personal artwork and then look at the work that inspires me, it's kind of bizarre how completely different they are. But that's okay. Like, there will always be a variety, and that's the beauty of it. You're always going to do something a little bit different. Because, like, I really enjoy working with super bright colors, generally speaking. But the art that I usually look up to tends to be very grim dark. Like, it tends to be very muted colors or natural tones. And yes, maybe there's some similarities sometimes, but generally speaking, my art looks completely different from the art that I look up to. And that's okay. Another tip that I have, which is almost the complete opposite of the entirety of what I've spoken to in this video, but is still a very effective tool, is to just step away and do absolutely nothing. Yes, you might get bored, but that's the point. You see, I feel like when we get bored, we tend to let our minds wander. And whenever you let your mind wander, it can take you to a very horrifying place, but it can also take you to wonderful places, either of which can be an incredible source of inspiration. It can be. Now, I know not everyone considers themselves a daydreamer, so it might not work as well for you. But it is nonetheless an effective tool to keep in your artistic toolbox. Let your mind wander. Let it do its own thing. It's the same with like dreams. Sometimes you wake up from a dream or a nightmare and you remember it so vividly. And sometimes from those vivid images that you have in your mind, you can derive some wonderful inspiration too. Write it down if you must. If you feel like, wow, this thing that really stuck with me for a moment, let me write it down now so it doesn't just get deleted from my mind's hard drive as soon as I leave the door. Because that's the thing with dreams, right? They tend to be fleeting. But they are also a beautiful source of inspiration. I hope that the aforementioned tools are of some use to you. If you have your own source of inspiration that you think might benefit others and you would like to share it, do feel free to leave a comment down below. If you're stuck on something, you can also leave a comment. I will get back to it. I don't know if I'll have good advice, but I will at least make a valiant attempt, I promise you that. So, you may have found your source of inspiration. Now what? How do you use it? Well, here's the beauty of that. You use it however you like. As long as you don't harm anyone else or animals, anything is game. Go paint, go write, go sculpt, go scream at the sky, go run outside with some abomination of a fashion creation that no one has ever seen before. Go make something that's never been done before. Go make something that's been done 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. This is your inspiration, and you can do whatever the frick-frack you want with it. I'm giving you permission to create something for you that doesn't need anyone else's approval. And maybe you will hate it, maybe you will love it, maybe you will contemplate upon the outcome of your actions. And that's all good, you know? That's all good. Whatever you do with your inspiration, it will tell a story. It will bring you closer to yourself, and it will bring you closer to the world. And I know that sounds incredibly, I'm 13 and this is deep, but I don't mean it in that way. I am being genuine when I say this. There is something deeply personal in wielding your inspiration as a tool for creation. And this doesn't just apply to artistic fields. This also applies to science and math. Yes, math of all things. But creativity and inspiration isn't just limited to artistic fields. Art and science have always walked hand in hand, even though a lot of the times they seem like nearly opposite forces, but I assure you they're not. They are actually quite closely related. So, as a closing statement to this video, I am actually going to leave you with a small art assignment. Oh yes, you're getting homework. not sorry about it. I promise you it will be fun. And of course, it's voluntary. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But my small art assignment for you is to either make a list or a collage of things that inspire you. And if you're going to go for the collage option, you can do whatever you want. You can use magazines, you can use newspapers, you can use printed images from the internet, you can use leaves or fabric textures that you really like, just whatever appeals to you. And then whenever you're finished with that list or that collage, sit down with it for a second and try to assess what about these things inspires you. Is it of an emotional nature? Is it of an aesthetic nature? Do you just find it incredibly pleasing to look at? It doesn't have to be any of these categories. Just try and think of what inspires you and just try and sit with that feeling, and then go out and create. You don't have to do that immediately. I'm just saying that if you feel compelled to create, you should do that. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to leave you to enjoy the rest of this painting. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, or remarks you may have in the comment section down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. I'm trying to put out videos on a regular basis, but I'm still a little bit too scared to commit to a set schedule with all the technical issues I've been having lately. But I will do my best to provide you with some new content on a semi-regular basis. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.